So, I know what you're thinking. You want to know what a 2 by 3 factorial experiment is. Well, let me just break this up for you. A factorial experiment is when one or more factors are involved in an experiment. So a 2 by 3 factorial experiment has 3 factors each at 2 different levels. Now, I'm not going to bore you with simple textbook definitions of what 2 by 3 factorial experiment is. That would not keep you invested. So here's how I'm going to do it. What are factorial experiments used for? Factorial experiments usually involve the following: gender, genotype, diet, housing conditions, experimental protocols, social interactions, and age, which can influence the outcome of an experiment. For example, if we were doing an experiment on hypothetical weight loss prevention, there would be 3 factors, 2 levels to that factor, and since 2 by 3 is equal to 8, there's 8 experimental conditions. The table here displays this. To actually conduct this experiment, everything has to be randomized. So you have to randomly assign individuals to the 8 experimental conditions to prevent bias. Each condition represents a different treatment. For instance, if randomly assigned to condition 2, the individuals will receive a home visit, but neither of the other 2 components. Those randomly assigned to condition 7 will receive the keeping of a food diary and increasing physical activity components, but will not receive a home visit. In a factorial experiment, the objective is generally not to compare individual conditions to each other. Instead, combinations of experimental conditions are compared. For example, to estimate the main effect of keeping a food diary, you would compare the mean of all the conditions in which keeping the food diary is set to no, which would be the conditions 1 through 4, and where it is set to yes, which would be the conditions 5 through 8. And you can do the same for increasing physical activity, which will be displayed in this table right here, which is table 3. So remember, when choosing an experimental design, specifically 2 by 3 factorial, you want to choose the one that delivers the most statistical power with the least amount of subjects. Thanks for watching my video to learn a little more about 2 by 3 factorial experiments.